Enduring the Arctic's unforgiving conditions is no small feat. With temperatures plummeting to -84 degrees Fahrenheit and only a few hours of daylight, the Inuit had to develop exceptional skills to survive. Their ability to adapt wasn't just about getting through the winter. It was about thriving in a land where nature offers little mercy. So, what was their secret? Unlike most, who would struggle in such an extreme environment, the Inuit relied on deep knowledge of the land and water. Hunting, fishing, and food preservation were not just survival tactics, but a way of life. Their approach to ice fishing, in particular, was nothing short of ingenious. Modern anglers rely on tools and technology, but the Inuit depended on experience and observation. Instead of drilling holes at random, they identified areas where fish naturally gathered, such as underwater shelves and deep basins. Choosing the right location meant the difference between a successful catch and wasted effort. Lacking modern augers, they used a toque, a powerful ice chisel, to carve through ice that could be up to 6 feet thick. Instead of cutting large openings, they made precise holes about 8 to 10 inches wide, just enough to pull fish through. This method minimized heat loss and kept the hole from freezing over too quickly, allowing them to fish efficiently despite the brutal cold. Many people don't realize that fish remain active even in the frigid waters of the Arctic. Unlike land mammals that hibernate, fish continue moving at nearly 80% of their normal activity level, making them a dependable food source throughout winter. The Inuit mastered this knowledge, using tidal shifts and moon phases to determine the most productive fishing times. A well-placed fishing hole could provide enough food for a family for an entire week. One of their most valuable catches, Arctic char, was not only abundant but packed with nutrients. At approximately 1,000 calories per pound, along with essential omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D, it became a critical part of their diet, especially during months when sunlight was scarce. Their fishing methods were simple yet remarkably effective. They relied on gorge hooks, meticulously carved from bone or ivory, attached to sinew lines. Unlike modern hooks, which rely on barbs, these traditional designs worked by turning sideways in a fish's throat, making escape impossible. Some Inuit elders even claimed these hooks were superior to modern metal ones. Not only were they more reliable, but they never rusted if lost in the ice. Fishing was far from a solitary task. While some members of the group tended to the holes, others remained in nearby shelters, taking turns to check for catches. Knowledge of the best fishing spots was a closely guarded secret passed down through generations. In an environment where temperatures could drop to -84 degrees Fahrenheit, finding fish wasn't just about food, it was about survival. Surviving the Arctic's harsh winters required more than just hunting and fishing. It demanded smart food preservation strategies. The Inuit transformed their surroundings into a natural freezer, but even that came with unique challenges. One of the biggest threats: polar bears. These massive predators possess an incredible sense of smell, capable of detecting food from miles away. To safeguard their supplies, the Inuit developed advanced preservation methods that went beyond simply freezing meat. One of the most remarkable techniques was the creation of egunek, a form of fermented walrus meat. This process involved burying large cuts of walrus meat inside seal skin bags, covering them with stones, and letting them ferment for months. While it might seem unusual to modern palates, this method ensured a steady supply of nutrient-rich food when fresh meat was scarce. Beyond fermentation, the Inuit relied on dried fish eggs, preserved berries, and a highly efficient meat drying process. Even in below-freezing temperatures, they sliced meat into thin strips and exposed it to the dry Arctic air, producing jerky that could last for months. This wasn't just about storage. It was a way to concentrate nutrients, providing a compact, energy-dense food source for long journeys. Food preservation was never a one-person task. Families worked together to dry, store, and protect supplies. The best storage locations had to be carefully chosen, far from predators, but still accessible during storms. As one Inuit elder humorously put it, their techniques were the original cold storage system, except theirs came with the added challenge of keeping polar bears at bay. While fishing and food preservation ensured survival during the harsh Arctic winters, hunting was just as critical. A single successful caribou hunt could yield as much as 150 pounds of meat, providing sustenance for an entire family for weeks. But tracking these massive herds in the endless Arctic darkness required skills far beyond what modern technology could offer. The Inuit became expert trackers, reading even the faintest signs in the snow. They could analyze hoof prints to determine an animal's age, follow trails where lichen had been disturbed, and even predict where caribou might dig through snow to forage. Their ability to anticipate animal behavior meant the difference between success and going hungry. Hunting strategies weren't limited to large game. Arctic fox trapping played a key role in their survival. Since these foxes are nocturnal, the Inuit strategically placed traps along well-traveled game trails, using frozen seal meat as bait. A well-planned trapline of 20 to 30 traps often resulted in at least one fox per 5 traps. An efficient and passive way to secure valuable fur and meat with minimal effort. Even smaller prey like the ptarmigan proved essential. These Arctic birds burrowed into snowdrifts at night for warmth, leaving behind small breathing holes. The Inuit, trained to spot even the most subtle clues in the environment, would locate these holes and use snares or nets to catch the birds. While it sounds simple, finding a perfectly camouflaged white bird in the middle of a blizzard was no easy task. Their hunting tools were designed with both practicality and durability in mind. One of their most innovative pieces of equipment was the commutic sled, built to navigate rough, icy terrain while carrying heavy loads. Unlike modern sleds, which depend on manufactured materials, the Inuit crafted theirs from driftwood, animal bones, and sinew lashings. This design not only made them lightweight, but also allowed for quick repairs, even in the middle of a journey. Perhaps the most impressive of all hunting skills was winter seal hunting. Seals provided meat, blubber for fuel, and waterproof skins for clothing and shelter. But hunting them required patience, precision, and deep knowledge of their habits, a challenge that tested even the most experienced hunters, as you'll see in the next part. Hunting seals in the depths of winter was more than a skill. It was an art that required patience, precision, and an intimate understanding of the frozen world. Seals were more than just food. They were a crucial source of survival essentials. Their meat provided vital protein, while their blubber was rendered into oil for heat and light. A single adult ringed seal could supply up to 100 pounds of meat and 50 pounds of blubber, making each hunt a high-stakes effort. Locating a seal's breathing hole was no simple task. Throughout winter, seals maintained multiple small openings in the ice, each roughly the size of a dinner plate. These holes were nearly invisible to the untrained eye. Inuit hunters relied on subtle clues, a slight rise in the snow, a faint crack in the ice, or even the delicate movement of warm air escaping into the bitter cold, to pinpoint their location. But finding a hole was just the beginning. The true challenge was the wait. Hunters would remain completely still for 3 to 4 hours, sometimes longer, braving temperatures well below freezing. To sense the exact moment a seal surfaced for air, they placed a fine strip of polar bear fur near the hole. When a seal exhaled, the faintest breath of warm air would make the fur quiver, giving the hunter just seconds to strike. Their harpoons, called unner, were engineered for precision. The detachable harpoon head was tethered to a strong line, designed to toggle beneath the seal's skin upon impact. Meanwhile, the wooden shaft floated free, ensuring the hunter wouldn't lose track of the prey. As one hunter put it, "Missing isn't the worst part. Watching your harpoon vanish into the hole is." The rewards of this meticulous hunting method were enormous. Seal meat delivered about 1,000 200 calories per pound, while blubber provided a staggering 4,000 calories per pound, critical in an environment where the body burned up to 6,000 calories daily just to stay warm. Even the liver was a valuable source of vitamin C, helping to prevent scurvy during the long, sunless months. Yet perhaps the most remarkable part: absolutely nothing was wasted. The Inuit never wasted a single part of an animal. When fresh food was scarce, they relied on one of nature's most concentrated sources of nutrition: bone marrow. While modern societies discard nearly 40% of their food, the Inuit developed techniques to extract every last bit of sustenance, ensuring nothing went unused. Interestingly, modern nutritionists now confirm what the Inuit have known for generations: bone marrow is nature's multivitamin, encased in a shell of calcium. They had two primary sources of marrow: caribou bones. Large leg bones contained up to 400 calories of marrow per bone, delivering as much energy as a whole chicken breast, but in a more concentrated form. Seal bones. Though smaller, seal marrow was rich in iron and vitamin A, essential nutrients for enduring the long Arctic winters. Extracting marrow was a skill in itself. In the freezing temperatures, bones hardened almost instantly after an animal was butchered. Instead of seeing this as an obstacle, the Inuit turned it into an advantage. Using carefully crafted stone tools, they struck bones at precise points, causing them to split cleanly. This allowed them to retrieve solid pieces of marrow without waste. One elder jokingly referred to it as nature's popsicle, though it's unlikely that flavor will ever make its way to an ice cream parlor. Marrow wasn't just a source of calories. It was 84% fat, making it one of the most energy-dense foods available. Beyond providing vital calories, it was also loaded with collagen, conjugated linoleic acid, and essential fatty acids. These nutrients played a crucial role in joint health, immune function, and inflammation reduction. Modern research now supports what the Inuit instinctively knew: bone marrow helps the body stay strong and resistant to illness, a critical advantage in an environment where even a minor infection could turn deadly. Storage was just as important as extraction. The Inuit created natural freezers by caching bones in deep snow, preserving marrow for months. These storage sites were carefully marked and became life-saving resources when extreme weather prevented hunting. As one hunter put it, "When storms kept us inside for days, knowing where the bone caches were meant the difference between hunger and survival." But survival in the Arctic wasn't just about personal skill. It was about collective resilience. Food wasn't hoarded, it was shared. This sense of community ensured that even in the harshest conditions, no one was left to face the cold alone. In the Arctic, survival was never an individual effort. It was a shared responsibility. The Inuit lived by ningiktuk, a structured system of distributing food that was far more than generosity. It was a well-honed survival strategy. In a land where hunting success was unpredictable, ensuring that everyone had access to food was the key to long-term survival. Imagine a hunter successfully taking down a 1,000-pound walrus. Keeping it all wasn't just impractical. It went against generations of wisdom that prioritized the well-being of the entire community. A single person or family couldn't consume that much meat before it spoiled, so sharing became the most logical and efficient way to use every part of the animal. But ningiktuk wasn't a random act of kindness. It followed an organized system. When a hunter made a large kill, specific portions were distributed based on need, contribution, and status. Families struggling to find food received larger portions, while experienced hunters, who could provide for themselves, took less. Elders were given the best cuts, not just out of respect, but because their survival meant the community retained valuable knowledge and guidance. One of the most meaningful traditions involved a young hunter's first successful catch. Instead of keeping it, they were expected to give it all away. This practice might seem counterintuitive, but it reinforced essential values. It taught young hunters that their role wasn't just about feeding themselves. It was about strengthening the social bonds that ensured collective survival. By sharing first, they secured a place in the community's support system, ensuring they would never go hungry when their own luck ran out. Beyond tradition, Ningiktuk served a crucial practical function. Hunting was unpredictable. One week, a hunter might have great success, while another struggled to find anything at all. By ensuring food was regularly shared, no family faced starvation alone. As one elder put it, in stores, money buys food. In our world, sharing brings food. The system also prevented waste. Large kills, like walrus or caribou, couldn't be eaten by one family before spoiling. By distributing meat quickly, it was processed, stored, and consumed in time, ensuring that nothing was lost. In a place where food preservation was challenging, this approach was the most efficient way to make the most of every successful hunt. Even knowledge was shared. While some families guarded their best hunting grounds, others openly exchanged information about migrating herds or prime fishing locations. The stronger the community, the better the chances of survival. In the Arctic, success wasn't measured by individual achievements. It was measured by how well the entire community endured. Inuit hunting success wasn't just about skill. It was about using tools specifically designed to withstand the brutal Arctic conditions. In an environment where modern metals could become brittle and unreliable, the Inuit relied on lightweight, multifunctional gear. Unlike today's hunters, who might carry up to 75 pounds of equipment, they traveled efficiently with around 35 pounds, ensuring every tool had a purpose. One of their most essential tools was the ulu knife, a uniquely curved blade made from slate or traded metal. This versatile tool was used for everything from butchering seals to preparing hides and even shaping snow blocks for shelter. The design allowed for precise control, making it invaluable for tasks requiring both power and finesse. Harpoons were another example of Inuit ingenuity. Their detachable heads, crafted to embed firmly in a seal's skin, prevented the animal from escaping beneath the ice. Meanwhile, the shaft was designed to float, making retrieval easier. Portability was key. Harpoons could be quickly taken apart and reassembled, making them practical for hunters who needed to travel light. When it came to transportation, the Komutik sled was an essential tool. Unlike modern sleds that rely on metal components, the Komutik was made from driftwood, animal bones, and sinew lashings. This construction allowed it to flex over rough ice, absorbing shocks rather than breaking. Because no metal was used, repairs could be made on the go with natural materials, a crucial advantage in the unforgiving Arctic landscape. Even their bows were built for durability. Instead of relying solely on wood, which could become brittle in extreme temperatures, they'd reinforced them with layers of bone and sinew. This provided the flexibility and strength needed to hunt effectively, even in freezing conditions. Yet tools were only part of the equation. What truly set the Inuit apart was their ability to read the environment. Understanding nature's smallest signs, even in total darkness, gave them an edge that no piece of equipment could replace. For the Inuit, nature was not just a backdrop but a living guide, offering signals that modern technology often fails to capture. Their ability to forecast weather days in advance came from careful observation of cloud shifts, wind currents, and animal behavior, skills honed through generations of survival in one of the world's harshest climates. Their understanding of snow was especially sophisticated. With over 50 unique words to describe it, they could recognize how different types would impact travel, hunting, and shelter building. Mataruti referred to damp, packable snow, ideal for shaping solid blocks used in shelter construction. Panato described a light, wind-packed snow that created ideal conditions for driving caribou toward waiting hunters. These terms were not just part of their language but essential tools for survival, helping them anticipate environmental changes and adapt accordingly. Even in pitch darkness, Inuit hunters could track animals with astonishing precision. By feeling the movement of snowflakes against their skin and noting how sounds carried through the frozen air, They could determine wind direction and locate potential prey. They also knew how weather patterns influenced animal behavior. Certain wind shifts would funnel seals toward specific ice holes, while changes in snow texture could indicate shifts in caribou migration routes. Their ability to interpret these natural cues allowed them to thrive where most would struggle. As one elder wisely put it, "The land speaks to those who listen." Our ancestors just learned to understand its voice over thousands of years. The Inuits' ability to survive in the Arctic was not just about enduring the cold. It was about their deep connection to the land, resourcefulness, and a strong sense of unity. Their success was not a matter of luck, but a result of centuries of adaptation and innovation. They mastered the art of hunting in near total darkness, reading subtle environmental clues to track animals with precision. Their food preservation methods ensured they could sustain themselves through the harshest winters, while their handcrafted tools were designed to function in extreme conditions where modern equipment often failed. However, their greatest strength was their way of living together. The Ningiktuk system ensured that no one was left without food, and that skills, knowledge, and resources were shared across generations. This wasn't just an act of kindness, it was a survival strategy, reinforcing the idea that collective well-being was more important than individual gain. Even today, survival experts and researchers study their methods to understand how humans can endure in the most challenging environments. What many see as one of the most unforgiving places on Earth, the Inuit saw as home, not just a place to survive, but a land they had learned to master through wisdom, resilience, and cooperation.